समरो मंत्र भलो नवकार छे 14 पुरवनो सार समरो मंत्र भलो नवकार छे 14 पुरवनो सार एना महिमानो नहीं पार एनो अर्थ अनंत
Should we start, Miraben Darshna?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. Rasilaben. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with Navka mantra. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loye Satvasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sattva Pavapanasano, Mangalanam cha Savvesim, Padamam Have Mangalam. So it will be lovely if you have your videos on. Then we will really enjoy doing this session. And I think it's always nice if you are able to keep your videos on. So I will really appreciate that. Can I introduce Rasilaben and myself? We are teachers of Sri Channa Vidyapith Chain School. I'll just share my slides. And firstly, I want to bow down to our Guru, Acharya Sri Channaji Maharaj. She is the spiritual head and the visionary behind Virayatan. And I think a lot of you will know Virayatan based on the 3 pillars of Seva, Siksha, Sadhana. She is a highly learned person, a deep thinker, and also her sadhvis are highly learned. And through them, Rasilaben and I have done all our learning. And it is because of them we are teachers of Sri Chatna Vidyapith, teaching children and adults, and coming here and teaching, not teaching, but discussing the topic today with all of you. Of course, we are very grateful to Oshwal and especially Shandepai for giving us this opportunity to be here today. And we are really looking forward to having a great discussion with all of you. And I hope you all are also looking forward to this this evening. So today's topic is moving from Ashubh, negativity, to Shubh, positivity. If you want to ask questions, I think the best thing is if you are able to just put your hand up, unmute, and ask a question as we are going along. Rasilaben, are you happy with that?
Yes, I am.
And that way we can tackle any questions as we're going along. And then, of course, at the end, if you have any extra questions, we can tackle that as well. Okay. So should we start?
Yeah.
Okay. So firstly, the aims of today is for us to recognize, at least have a glimpse of what negativity is within us and understand where this negativity is coming from. Discuss ways to change from negativity to positivity. And why did Bhagwan tell us to move from Ashubh to Shubh? So these are some of the things we aim to cover in the session today. Rasilaben.
Okay, Jai Jinendra, everyone. So I'd like to ask you a question. 90% of the time, we are all negative. Who does not agree to this? You just have to speak up because Ritaben, can you take a note of this?
Now they can even put on the chat. Okay, can I see the chat here? Okay. Whether I can. Okay. So how many of you agree with this statement?
I agree.
Okay, sorry, Tavin, thank you.
I mean, there are very few.
Anyone put a thumb up?
You can put your thumbs up.
Yeah, put the thumbs up.
You can react or put your hand up if you want.
I want everyone. I want a reply from everyone.
Who's making? Okay, so I can only see one thumb.
No, I can see a few thumbs.
Which means that in this audience we have today, this particular statement doesn't hold true. It's not 90%. So how many actually think, what do you think? Do we tend to remember negative incidents more than positive ones? What do you all think?
I think we do. Because whenever like sort of you are thinking, you're always thinking of the things. Somebody has done something bad to you or something bad happened to you. Those things will come first, and you always sort of think, oh, this didn't happen to me, that didn't happen to me, rather than what good has happened to you.
And why do you think that is? Why do we tend to remember the negatives more than positive?
Because of our mindset.
It's also, it became as a protective mechanism, because when something negative happened to us, we didn't want it to happen again. So we always remembered, we always associated a reaction to something that had happened, which was negative. So it's now become custom and practice. So I think I just wanted to share with you the fact that the reason why we tend to remember, it's like a glass half empty. We'll remember when we see a glass which is half full, we always think of how much it's empty. So in the same way, research has shown that we tend to, the negative impressions stay with us more than a positive impression will. In one study where they shared success of surgical rates with two groups, one group was told 70% of, there's a 70% positive outcome with this surgery, and they were really happy with that surgical procedure and they would support it. The other group was told there's a 30% failure rate, and the other group did not like it at all, and they had a negative view about that surgical intervention. When they turned it around and told the first group that there is a 30% failure rate with this surgery, the first group no longer supported that surgical intervention. When the second group was told there's a 70% success rate, it didn't change their view at all. They were still not supporting it. So what this is telling us is that once a negative impression has been formed in us, it is very difficult to change that negative impression. And we always tend to look at, well, you all don't seem to be, because majority of them didn't raise your hand up. But in general, this is what the general psychological studies have shown. Next slide, Ritaben. Oh, sorry. So I want to start off with a story. Mahashatak, Sadhak Mahashatak was a lay devotee of Bhagwan Mahavir at his time. And he was really very highly respected in his community because he provided a lot of financial support and supported everyone, his family, his community, etc. After he took the 12 vows, when Mahavir Bhagwan was there, he handed his business to his son. And now he tends to meditate a lot for his sadhana. So he goes to Upasha to meditate. But one of the things that is not right in his life is he has a very painful relationship with his wife, Revati. Next slide, Ritaben. So Revati just did not like her husband spending so much time in the Upasha or even being Mahavir Bhagwan's sadhak. She just generally felt that he was not looking after her. She had absolutely no care for his feelings at all. And because of that, she used to go to the Upasha where he meditated and would tell him off all the time. Now, once when she went there, and Mashatak initially tried to explain to her the path, why he was doing it. But when she refused to listen to him, he became very silent. And this really aggravated her irritation, frustration, anger. So one day when she went, she was shouting very loudly. Next slide, Rita. She was shouting very loudly at him. And he lost his cool. Ritaben? Oh, sorry. And he lost his cool. And this is what he told her. Wicked woman, do you know the outcome of your ugly behavior? You have sinned so much that you will go to hell. You will pay dearly for your crafty, crooked life and suffer untold miseries. Now, obviously, this is quite extreme. This is someone who had absolutely no control in front of everyone who was in the Upasha. And everyone who knew that Mahashatak was such a devoted follower of Mahavir Bhagwan, he was so silent, he supported the community. This is what she says in front of everyone. So everybody was really shocked to hear Mahashatak responding, because so far he had not said anything. Now, this is quite extreme, but do you think similar incidents happen in our lives? No.
I
I'm
think
not saying
from
it has
the
to be this
child,
extreme. I'm not saying it has to be this extreme, but do you lose your cool and therefore respond and react to a situation?
I think like when children are growing up, we tend to kind of like sort of bring out the negative stuff to say, oh, amni karne, anati kairu, no lunati kairu. And perhaps similar things may have happened to in our childhood that our parents have told us, and that tend to sit there for longer.
You're right, Nilma Ben. So, what do you think is the cause of negativity in both Mahashatak and Revati? Sarita? Anyone? Anyone else? Okay, I'm not going to waste any more time. If
Olga,
people,
communication.
Karma.
Karma, communication. Someone.
yeah. Anything else? Kashais, the passion that is been. You could say that's a cause. It may not be the cause, but the passion is the reaction that Mahashatak is having to the situation that he's faced with. Okay, so his inner passions, anger at this stage. So now I want you for a minute, I just want you all to think about, and this is everyone, there are about 35 of you. So, what sort of emotions, feelings do you recognize within yourself that you would consider are negative? And just for a minute, just write things down on your piece of pad. The reason I'm asking you to write this is because it's really important for you to recognize these emotions. Okay, so Ritaben, I'm just giving them a minute.
Yeah, that's good. Be honest with yourself.
And most of them have their
And write just words. Don't write big sentences, just words, whatever words are coming out.
and everybody's videos are off. Okay, so
Hold on. Yeah. Oh,
so does anyone want to share one emotion, feelings that you recognize?
yeah.
I can do one, which is fear.
Yes, very good. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got one. Anger, being
Mhm.
right.
Sorry, what did you say, Ritaben?
Anger and being right.
Being right gives a negative. Okay, yeah. Anyone else?
Someone has said frustration.
Right.
Failure.
Failure, yes.
Mine was fear as well.
Or
Great.
sometimes તમને વધારે કંઈ achieve કરવું હોય ને you are trying for that ને ના થતું હોય તો you just keep on thinking negative.
Yeah.
Because you are expecting something worse, right?
Or something good અને એ ના થતું હોય એટલે પછી આપણને
So you
ઊંધા જ
have an
વિચાર આવે.
expectation of something happening and it doesn't happen.
Yes.
Okay. How many of you?
Ego, negative self-talk.
There are lots of obviously reasons for it. There are lots and lots of reasons. I just wanted to see which ones you came up with. Just to give you a few that we jotted down when we were doing this was anger, greed, ego, deceit, fear, wanting to hurt others, which always come, judgments all come from your ego and your anger, prejudices, blaming others, all of it comes from one of your inner kashais. Feeling left out, having negative feelings for others, gossiping. These are anything which is against your normal atmana, normal values pramane. Anything you do is negative.
Judgment.
How many of
Sorry.
you?
Sarita Ben?
Yeah, sorry, judgment. Mine was judgment as well.
Yeah.
Because we usually judge a person and then we we
Yeah,
have
I
feelings. Yeah.
barabar છે. So anything apane, so these are all negative feelings. How many of keep on dwelling on these feelings and emotions for some time?
Weeks, days,
Minutes, hours?
hours.
two or 3 days.
Okay, I asked you that question because
Anyone else? If you can all put something down on chat, just write down.
Ritaben, if they write down on chat, you are not going to finish this session today.
Yes, that's right.
So they have to speak up, and if they don't want to speak up, then there's very little we can do about it.
I think sometimes it just stays with you forever and ever until you really recognize it and start working towards that.
Yes.
Well done.
That's true. Very true.
Well done. And that is really important. So now I'm going to ask you the question, what do you understand by the term dhyan? Just one person can answer. It doesn't matter. What do you understand by the term dhyan?
Is it meditation?
Or
One
self-reflection.
interpretation of is meditation or being in a meditative state. Or, Ritaben, next slide, being in concentrated, focused thought for a long time. So Jainism, so this is where Jainism comes in. So in Jainism, there are 4 types of dhyan that have been described. Some of you have already learned this. 2 of them are Ashubh, non-virtuous dhyan, because these dhyans keep us in sansar. Basically what it means that when you are in this dhyan, you are continually binding negative karmas, pap karmas. So the first one is Artha Dhyan. So Artha Dhyan means that it's like an internal dhyan. You're looking at yourself internally, you're being sorrowful, distressed, worried about yourself, being in pain. And there are 4 different types of Artha Dhyan. So when you want to try and get rid of an unfavorable, something you don't like and you want to get rid of it, that is an Artha Dhyan. So an example of that, I don't know, Ritaben, if you want to give an example of something like that.
So Artha Dhyan is like, for example, you have something which has been given to you, someone you really don't get along with, and they have come into your life, whether it's at work, whether it's any other friend circle, and your focus goes on, how do I deal with this situation where I've come across someone I don't really get on with? How can I come out of this relationship so I don't have to see this person at all? Or having a thing which I really don't like, and then your focus goes on, let's just get rid of this. How am I going to get rid of it? So your focus is on it, you're thinking about it all the time, and that sort of concentrated thoughts which you have about wanting to get rid of this unfavorable thing, and also thinking about how unfavorable it is, and that is Artha Dhyan. One
Yeah,
type.
so you may not enjoy your work and you are always thinking, I want to get out of this, I want to get out of it. So it focuses you on that. The other one is how you want something you've lost. So for example, a jewelry somebody stole or you lost it and your focus is on there. That is also Artha Dhyan because you are missing something that you have lost and you want it back. Then worrying about disease, ailment. So focus is always on my knees are hurting me or my back is hurting me or this. And your focus is on the disease or the ailment and you can't think away from it. And the 4th one is when you want something worldly comfort. I want to get a new house, a new car. So you're constantly planning something which is going to keep you in sansar, something which is temporary, which is temporary happiness. That is also Artha Dhyan. Okay, the other Ashubh Dhyan is Rodra Dhyan. So Rodra means cruel, harsh, it's outward looking. When you want to hurt someone, you want to, because somebody's affected you in some way, or you want to be aggressive towards someone, etc. So the 4 types of Rodra Dhyan are, you take pleasure out of violence. So I'm sure none of us are going to be violent in action, but we may be violent in thought. You want to destroy someone, you may say something wrong about someone which can actually destroy their reputation, whatever. So here I want to give you a story of a butcher. This was at the time of Bhagwan Mahavir, when Shrenik Raja, who was the Raja in at the time, when he became a Jain, he banned butchering of animals. So this butcher continued to do it. So Shrenik Raja imprisoned him, and he was drawing the pictures of the killing animals, getting them, tying them up and killing them whilst he was in prison. So basically what we were showing was that even though the physical violence had been taken away, the mental violence was still there. And I don't want to give you lots of stories, otherwise we won't finish this session, because there is something about Muni Prasan Chandra as well, and what Bhagwan Mahavir said when you are in this state of aggressive thinking at that time. So that's one type of Rodra Dhyan. The other one is when you take pleasure in being untruthful, when you gossip, you defame someone else, and you take pleasure, or you do it. Why do you do it? Because we want to do it. It's also when you take something, you want to take something, you steal something, and that makes you happy as well. And the fourth type is when you acquire something and you want to keep hold of it. So parigraha means being attached to something which you have, not wanting to let go of it. So this is also, and you will take every possible action to secure whatever you have so that you don't let go of it. These are all types of Rodra Dhyan. Now, when we are in these sorts of concentrated thoughts, we are binding pap karma continuously. And if all of you are here because you want to reduce your karmas, you're wanting to find out more about Jain philosophy, then really one of the actions we should be taking is moving away from these two dhyans. Once we recognizing is very important, but moving away from these two dhyans into the next dhyan, which is dharma dhyan. So Ritaben, next slide. So in dharma dhyan, it is all when you are looking at what is good in the world, what is good in any situation. If your concentration is always looking at what is the better part of something, then your dhyan is positive, and that means you are binding punya karma. And punya karma is really important to take us eventually to take us to moksha. It can't take us to moksha. We have to eventually let go of punya, but it gives us the right circumstances to continue with spiritual progress. Some of the types of dharma dhyana are contemplating on the ideal of vitrag. Many of you go to the derasar, Chaitya Vandan Karva. Many of you will be doing your Chaitya Vandans or your prayers at home. So actually focusing on bhakti is a form of dharma dhyan. Focusing on why you are attached and attached to things and how you can get more detached is also dharma dhyan. Focusing on why do I get angry? What is happening? Mara karma keva che? What am I experiencing? What is the consequence of all these karmas? Focusing on something that is going to bring a behavioral change in you, or even in the nature of the universe. Who am I in this whole universe? Those are all forms of dharma dhyan. And the most positive is the shukla dhyan, which means pure, white. And when one's focus is completely on one's soul and not outside. And usually shukla dhyan happens when Keval Gnan is achieved. So it's part and parcel of achieving Keval Gnan. I'll pass now to Ritaben.
Okay, so so why should we work on our negativity? We know that negativity will affect our soul, our mood, our aura. It affects our mental and well-being. Also, it affects our life. If we want a harmonious, peaceful life, then it's important to work on negativity, because negativity can really cause a lot of anxiety and stress. Of course, no one really wants to associate with a person who is very negative, and I think we will all experienced that. And so for better social relationships, we also want to become a more positive person. And as Rasilaben said, reducing the binding of pap karmas, a really important thing. Now, we're talking about negativity, and we're now giving you this picture. Why is that? What do you think? Why do you think we put this up? Anyone? I can't see anyone now. So
I can. Most of them have got their videos off.
Does it make you do rag and dwesh, rag towards the pretty looking flowers and dwesh against the mess?
um,
You could interpret
no,
it as that way, Bijal, but
but
anyone else?
yeah.
Yeah, you feel good looking at the flowers and beautiful garden, and on the other hand, I mean, you feel not negative, but not good to see the grass overgrowing and
Yeah, one garden is completely neglected,
yes,
whereas the other one you can see flowering and really
yeah,
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So when
And
you
I think
enter into that garden, you feel automatically you will feel positive. You'll feel the surrounding positive and everything.
I think when we look at that, sometimes we automatically will become judgmental. That will think, oh my God, this person not looking after their garden or they're not
Yes.
looking. And the other one will think, oh wow, they're really doing good job. They're really looking after the garden.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, that discussion.
Really good, interesting discussion. So our mind is like a garden. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. So you're comparing with our mind with the garden.
Oh, yeah. So our mind is like a garden. Okay. If you are not vigilant, you are not aware, what's going to take you over?
Yes, that's right. All the negative thoughts and all the
All the rubbish, all the
yes, all the negativity and all the rubbish thoughts.
Yeah. So the weeds will take over, the weeds of negativity.
Yes, that's right.
And the beautiful garden here on my right is saying that once you have a beautiful garden with lots of beautiful shrubs and flowers, then there is no space for weeds. And even if there is a weed, it will be one weed which you can pluck out. So it's from our mind perspective. If our mind was full of positivity, then the negativity will not touch us as much. And even if it does, you'll become aware and you'll want to pick it out. But that's what it's showing. So something for you to remember that what our mind is like. So with this in mind, it sort of reminded me of a verse from Bhaktama Stotra, which goes like this. Ko vismayotra yadi nama guneraseishais tvam sanshrito niravakashataya munisha doshairupat vividashraya jata garve swapnantarepi na kadachit apekshitosi. So really beautiful verse, and it's verse number 27, where it says, Hey Prabhu, is it a big deal that you haven't got any negativity? You're full of good qualities, such that there is no space for negativity to come to you, not even in your dreams. But these negativities have gained residence in all other living beings. And as such, these negativities, within this negativity, this ego has arisen because they are in everyone else. So what this verse is really telling us is how important it is that we don't allow negativity in us. But more important, because by not allowing negativity in us, what do you want our mind to be full of? Positivity. So only if you have positivity will you ensure that no negativity comes in. So you have to fill yourself with all these beautiful qualities, and that's what it is saying here. Yeah. So what causes negativity in us? Is it the acts of others? or our own inner self? Any thoughts on this?
I think it's our own inner self.
Okay. Anyone else who
I
has?
think it's insecurity within ourselves.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
I think it's how we sort of perceive things around us that comes from within us, and that's what leads us to negativity. So when we see others' actions, instead of looking at it positively or putting yourself in their shoes, we normally kind of react. So it's reactive rather than thinking and then react.
Yes, that's true.
Very good. What else? Anything else? Anyone else? No. Okay. So absolutely. Someone said something. Okay, now. Okay. So yes, absolutely. It is our own passions, anger, greed, ego, deceit, which really causes the negativity. A lot of times we think it's the external world. Someone has come into our life and then we become angry, or something hasn't happened, we become annoyed. But that external world is only a nimit. But
Do
it
you
is,
all understand what nimit means?
yeah, so nimit is the instrumental cause. Okay, but the principal cause is us. Okay, it is up to us how we react to that situation. It is up to us how we react to that person. It's all in our hands. But when we ourselves are vulnerable, then we will not react in a positive way. So, it all is because of our own vices that we react in a negative way. Any questions on this?
Yeah, and would you, Ritaben and Rasilaben, say that it would multiply as well? Sort of when you're thinking negatively, then obviously you'll see other things around you negatively as well. But
Yes.
if it's positive, then that will multiply.
Absolutely.
Yes, because if you learn to look at positivity in everything, eventually you won't notice the negativity, because every human being has good and bad qualities. Okay, every situation will have a good and a bad quality in it. So how you look at things, if you change that focus, everything will change.
Yeah. So, what are the manifestations of these inner passions which we have? It's our attachments to things, attachment to people, to situations, having hatred as well is a manifestation. Expectations, a really big thing which we talked about, someone brought it up. Expectations, expectations that, oh, wish my child would come and see us regularly. It's an expectation. And then when that doesn't happen, we get annoyed. Okay. So that's really important. Making judgments. And there's a really beautiful, this is sort of happened at work. And there was a group of lawyers who had just come into the building, and there were new people, new sort of, clients there. And they didn't know where they were going. So they saw an African black person, and they went towards the person and said, oh, can you tell me where I need to go? So a judgment was formed there, a judgment that association of, okay, black person, security guard. Yeah, so that judgment. But in reality, this person was a lawyer himself. So can you see how we make judgments all the time? I want you to do an experiment this whole week. Yeah, every day, whether you are going to work, whether you're going out for a walk, for even 10 minutes, if not longer, just focus on what your thoughts are, what you are thinking, what sort of things are coming towards you, and what your thoughts are towards those things and people. And you will find how many judgments, crazy a number of judgments you can make. Yeah. How many of you have fear of the future? Worrying about lack of financial security, worrying about health, what's going to happen in future, our children's futures. Yeah.
Myself,
Do you think about it?
yes, all the time.
I think because we've been brought up in a way that you have to think of your future,
Yes.
but
Thinking of the future is
rather
not.
than thinking, what we tend to do is that we tend to think negatively about the future. What if?
Mm.
And that would then become a negative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's good to plan for the future. That's it's not saying that, but it's when that negativity arrives, there is fear. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Yeah, that's the problem. The other thing is negative ruminations about past events. Anyone has experience of it? Anyone?
Negative ruminations about
Yep, I do. Some things happen at work, and although I want to and tend to, and I'm trying my best to forget about it, but every now and then it appears on the surface, especially when I see that person's name or I see that person or hear from that person, and it is a difficult journey.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess the important thing here is understanding that's a negative impression which we have in us. And what is that causing to us? Forget the other person. Probably the other person doesn't even think about this. But what is it doing to us? And do we want that to be us for the rest of our lives or the rest of a year or 2 years, whatever it is?
No,
Yeah.
No, definitely
not
not.
at all.
And hence, what do we want to do about it?
I
Yeah.
think in my case, I'm trying to think of the good things about that person and the good qualities of that person to try and see if that hopefully would balance out in a way that I'll forget that one bad experience.
Mm.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
it's as I said, it's a long journey.
And it's a long journey because we are wanting it to. So I'm trying to say this because it is in our hands. That
Yeah.
that journey can stop now if we really were determined. It's
Mm.
difficult, but we have to find a solution to it. It's not easy, and I also remember some of my past things which has happened in the past. But how can we forgive people? How can we forgive? Um, and that's a question I always think to myself. How can I forgive? Because forgiveness is what will allow us to move forward. Yeah. Outward directed anger. Others are to be blamed.
Outward directed anger.
Others are to be blamed. Yeah. Do we ever see people from their world, or do we always feel they are to be blamed for everything which we are doing? For example, I fell down, fractured myself playing football because my friend came in front of me. Yeah, we were playing a football match, and I start blaming my friend. Yeah. But did we ever think why did they come in the way? They were maybe probably wanting to goal or something. Okay. So so become aware of this. Now this one is really interesting. We may have had appraisal at work, and there were 10 positive things which someone said about us, and there was one negative.
Negative. Yeah.
What are we going to focus on?
Mm.
It's that one negative, yeah.
Mm.
And that is the irony, that we may have amazing qualities, but that one thing which someone said is enough for us to go down the spiral, and become negative. So can you see how vulnerable we are and how weak our mind is? So we need to be able to say, no, I have all these positive qualities, and work on those. The negativity will go away. Blaming ourselves, okay? Blaming ourselves for something which happened, say, for example, to our child, to our friend, a family member, and then we start blaming ourselves. And then this leads to guilt, again, a negative manifestation. And then finally, these are some examples. Finally, comparing yourself to others, and then sort of this will lead to lack of self-confidence. And there's a nice quote here: comparison is a thief of our joy. And comparing others will bring emotions like or feelings of jealousy. You feel you're no good, you feel you're inadequate, and again, that really doesn't allow us to come up. Yeah. So these are few manifestations of our inner passions. So these are part of our inner passions. So how do we cultivate positivity? Any ideas? How do we cultivate positivity?
Is it ignoring the bad situation?
Ignoring something. Ignoring something as long as it hasn't touched you. The minute it touches you, will you forget it?
Yeah, that's another, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything else?
Gratitude.
Gratitude, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's that sort of developing the gratitude in us every day when we wake up in the morning or at night, thinking about 3 things we are grateful for every day, and look and develop and growing that gratitude in us. Yeah, absolutely.
And is it trying to like sort of find the good points or the good qualities of others and focusing on that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So focusing on the goodness. Absolutely. Yeah, and then telling them about what good they are, appreciating the goodness and telling them about it. Yeah, that is really important as well as part of this. So some of the things are increase awareness. So developing awareness through mindfulness. Okay, so working on becoming more and more aware, being in the present moment, developing mindfulness, reflecting on our feelings and reviewing what was the reason for such feelings, working on reducing passions. And I will not say here, and just think about what I'm saying here. I'm not saying reduce your anger. I am saying work on your forgiveness. Work on your contentment, work on your gratefulness, which is what Bijalben said. Work on your humility, that softness within you. Work on being straightforward. By working on this, the negativity we are sort of solving the issue of negativity. Okay, and this is what Bhagwan Mahavir in Uttradhyan had said, that these are the antidotes, but work on the antidotes to get rid of the negativity. Exactly like you said, look at the positive qualities of people and situation and share this with others as well. So that's a really that sort of sharing is anumodna, which which is a really positive anumodna which we are doing, and also it is a good thing to do. Consider things from the perspective of the other person. So Bhagwan Mahavir says, as I am, you are. As I don't like things, as I don't like, you also don't like. So having that empathy and understanding that that person is just like me. Okay, and because and as a result, if I don't like something, they will not like something. So work on this, think about this and see how we can make little small changes to be able to, move forward. And then focus on the good actions through mind, speech, and body. Okay, so there are practices like mindfulness, meditation, compassion, self-compassion, have compassion for yourself rather than putting yourself down, doing charitable, thinking of doing charitable deeds and being grateful. Through speech, so prayers are really important, like talking to friends and family about good things, working towards, the common good. And then, of course, doing physical activity. We know physical activity causes release of endorphins, again, something which can bring a lot of positivity. Journaling, I don't know if anyone does journaling at all, and what the experiences are of journaling. Anyone at all? So journaling is writing down your experiences of the day, your feelings of the day, and doing that on a daily basis.
Can I just share something with you? In a long time ago, at work, I always used to beat myself up if anything went wrong. And my manager would make me sit down and say, write down everything good that you do. So she would make me write down, this is about self-compassion and make a list of it, and you'll find that actually outweighs the one mistake you made or the one thing you could have done better, etc. And that's about learning how to look at the positive side of your own thing, which is self-compassion, to help yourself not to become always focusing on the negative thing about yourself.
Yeah. And then spending time in nature. Okay, we know I love walking, and I love going almost every day for a walk in nature, because you can learn so much from nature about being positive, about being grateful, but also about that the open arms they have, what's the word I'm looking for? The giving nature of nature. Really nice to reflect on that when we are in nature. So you will have your own things you want to, which sort of helps you, which you are interested in, and which can get you from negativity to positivity. So
Okay, can I interrupt?
Sure.
My son, he's an actor, and he goes every day, he tells me to write whatever I do from morning till evening. He's not with me, but he lives in Norway, but he's always phoning me to tell me, write whatever you're doing. So I've just started actually, but I didn't know that the other name is journaling. I was just writing whatever I do. And I mean, he's very, very positive. He goes in the forest, he is always in the nature, hugging all the trees. And yeah, I mean, he says the positiveness he gets from, all the nature and everything is quite a lot for him to act, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I haven't written in here the sharing. Sharing is another really positive action which can really help. Like we take children to do volunteer work in Virayat and in India for 2
Yes.
weeks in summer. And, the kids, the teenagers are so happy to be there, sharing things with the kids from India. And that sharing is
Sharing is one of the, yes.
another really important thing. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing. So, coming back to the story of Sadhak Mahashatak. So how do you think Mahashatak should have handled the situation? The one which, Rasilaben talked about in the beginning. How do you think he should have handled this situation?
Should he have thought about from his wife's perspective that why she was saying what she was saying? And is there anything he can do or change himself or his actions which would kind of change her mind?
Yeah. And probably if we read that story further, his wife wasn't going to be changed, wasn't going to change in any way. But he was on this path, or for Bhagwan Mahavir, she was in a completely different path, which was from a worldly perspective. Yeah, so they were at two extreme ends in a way. But yeah, really good to think about it from the other person's viewpoint, absolutely. And anything he could have done to not trigger that in her. Yeah. Anything else?
Self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bhagwan Mahavir asked Gautam Swami to go and talk to Mahashatak. Okay. So can you see the compassion of Mahavir Bhagwan? Yeah, it was just amazing. So what did Gautam Swami say to
Yeah, not lose your patience.
Yeah, you must not lose your patience. Your words will have hurt your wife. With years, this I really think is so important. With years of sadhana, you have controlled most of your inner passions, but this is a slippery slope. Negativity can really make you go down really quickly. Okay, so be aware of that. You have to work hard at positivity.
Yeah.
You have to, one thing Acharya Shiji once said is, until you are not a very strong person, you should even stay away from negativity, whether it's negative people, with negative situations, because it can really swallow us really quickly. Okay, so that's really important to remember. Your resolve and determination is being tested at each step. Caution must be your concern now. The slightest carelessness will send you tumbling down. So same point. Yeah. If someone is mean to you, is it right for a sadhak to be mean in return? Retain your cool and be magnanimous. So these were the words of Gautam Swami for Mahashatak. So finally, you need to reflect on, from what we've been discussing, what is your goal? The title of this topic is moving from Ashubh to Shubh, negativity to positivity. It is all about changing mindsets. Remember, we can change our actions, but if we don't change our mindset, then whatever actions we are changing are not permanent. So you have to change mindsets. I want you to write down, it's 9:15 now. I want you to write down one thing you want to take away from today. One thing you want to take away from today. If you can just write down, just 1 minute I'll give you. Someone has written ignore negativity and focus on positivity. So that's a big thing. So now from within that, one thing you want to change to shift from negativity to positivity. So reflect on that. The person who wrote to me, reflect on that because it's a big thing. If we think too big, nothing will change. So it's baby steps which we want to take to get there. And it's not that I'm not saying that we are the most negative people here, but what this is because we are on the path of progress. So in that path of progress, we are talking about how important it is to get rid of our vices. Finally, I just wanted to share with you something which was written in Sutra Krutang Sutra, which is one of our scriptures. Siham jaha kudamiga charanta dure charanti pari sankamana evam tu mehavi samikha dhammam durena pavam parivajja ejja. So what this means is that small animals in the jungle are fearful. They are vigilant and they're always on a lookout for the lion. And they will avoid places where the lion roams around and will keep away from the lion. In the same way, an intelligent person, with the help of Dharma, will review each situation to not attract or carry out negative acts and will stay away from negativities. And that is our message for today's session. Thank you very much, everyone. Any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to?
Beautiful, beautiful, really, really interesting subject, really. I mean,
I've had a few of our members messaging me directly throughout the lesson, but just the last part, when you asked, write one thing down that you want to take away. So a few people have said, being more mindful of other people's actions and feelings, being more self-compassion, learn to think before speaking or blurting out, and another one, think before you speak, and finally, work on things before reacting. So a lot of just sitting back, thinking first about your actions, what will happen, if you just react.
And can I just add something to this? When we talk about actions, it can't be just actions, outwardly actions, but it has to be our mind, activity, and our speech. So how well, how are we responding to people? How are we talking to people? What sort of tone are we using? And our mind as well. Sometimes we may not respond from a bodily point of view, but in our mind we have responded. So the subtlety is how can we stop responding even to the mind? So that's at a subtle level. Okay. So, but we have to work on all three levels, and from the mind perspective, from the speech perspective, and then from the bodily perspective.
And just one thing, when we talked about, when Ritaben gave you the slide and you all said about the limit, that the external situations are an instrumental cause, but you yourself are responsible for the actual cause of the reaction, your inner passions. So being mindful of that, that if you ignore that situation, if you learn to ignore, if you work on ignoring a situation, you're already more than halfway there. So just make awareness that external situation is it's an instrument. You are your own cause of anything that happens, any negative, just bearing in mind and working on that.
And one thing, sorry, I know we are losing out of time, but one story which I want to say. So this is something I listened to, and it was, I don't know, some people may have read the book Conversation with God by Neil Donald Walsh, and there was a interview with him. And someone had gone into the restaurant and they had an iPhone next to them sitting there, and a thief tried to come and snatch that iPhone. And but that person was really quick, so they grabbed the phone before the thief could get it. Then they asked the question to Neil that what should I have done? Should I have called the police at that time? Should I have shouted so people would have got him, got him? So what Neil said at that time is, I would have asked the person to sit with me, and I would have asked, why did you steal? Why did you try to steal this phone? And get to the bottom of it. If it was because he wanted some money by selling the iPhone, I would have asked if I could give him the money so that he doesn't carry out this act elsewhere as well. So can you see the shift in your mindset? Yeah, in his case, an amazing shift was that positivity he has, that he wants to make a change to someone. And then they stop doing the negative things themselves. So it's sort of spreading that. So I think that's really it really sticks to my mind how mindsets need to change.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Really
Ritaben.
nice.
That was
Thank you.
a lovely way of ending today's lesson, and just want to say thank you, both Ritaben and Rasilaben, for this this class, taking this class for us this week. And I'm pretty sure all of our members will take away something and be less negative, more positive, focus on the positivity and the positive aspects of the day as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Should we finish with our
Rasilaben.
prayer? Should we finish with a prayer?
Yes.
Rasilaben, you wanted it?
No, you carry on. You carry on.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loye Sopasahonam, Yeso Panchanamakaro, Sopapavakanasano, Mangalalam Chasavesim Padamam Bhave Mangalam. Yattari Mangalam Arihanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahabu Mangalam, Kivri Panapodamo Mangalam. Yattari Loguttama Arihanta Loguttama, Siddha Loguttama, Sahu Loguttama, Kivri Panapodamo Loguttamo. Yattari Saranam Pavachami, Arihante Saranam Pavachami, Siddhe Saranam Pavachami, Sahu Saranam Pavachami. Kevali Pannattam Dhammam Saranam Pavachami. Thamemi Savva Jive, Savve Jiva Khamantu Me. Mitti Me Savva Bhuesu, Veram Majjanatimi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jai Jinendra, everyone.
Bye. Jai Jinendra, bye.
Jai Chinendra, thank you.
Jai Jinendra.